Welcome, and thanks for tuning in to a special college football opening weekend edition of Around the Big Ten. I'm your host, Lucy ROHDEN.
And I'm NATALIE LACOPETTI. I don't know about you, Lucy, but I am so happy to have college football back, and I cannot think of a better way for it to get kicked off.
I completely agree. It got off to a strong start Thursday in the East when Ohio State took on Indiana. And although it was close until the third quarter, Ohio State's talent was just too much for the Hoosiers as the Buckeyes headed back to Columbus with a 49-21 victory. OSU quarterback J.T. Barrett earned the title of Co-Offensive Player of the Week with his 365 yards of total offense.
In the Big Ten West, Minnesota took on Buffalo in P.J. Flank's head coaching debut for the Gophers, where Minnesota rode the boat to a 17-7 victory over the Bulls. Minnesota has still not solved their quarterback controversy as both Connor Rhoda and Demi Croft saw time in the first game.
On Friday night, Rutgers invited the 8th-ranked Washington Huskies into Piscataway. The Scarlet Knights put up a tough fight in the first half, but 2 touchdown passes late in the second by Jake Browning proved to be the turning point as Washington took the game 30-14.
Wisconsin dominated in their opener against the Utah State Aggies, where quarterback Alex Hornibrook threw 3 touchdown passes and the Badger defense forced 4 turnovers in the 59-10 win. And Wisconsin proved why they were ranked in the top 10.
Purdue fell to the Heisman winner Lamar Jackson and the Louisville Cardinals by a score of 35-28, where Jackson had 485 total yards. The Boilermakers put up a tough fight, but Jackson proved to be too much for Purdue and Jeff Brom in his first game as head coach.
Nebraska escaped a close one against the Arkansas State, defeating the Red Wolves 43-36, where it came down to Arkansas State failing to score on the final play. Quarterback Tanner Lee, who was a transfer from Tulane, made his debut in the red and white throwing for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. Northwestern took on Iowa grad Jade Norvell's Nevada Wolfpack, and the Wildcats had to rely on 2 touchdowns in the final 6 minutes from quarterback Clayton Thorson to escape their 20-17 deficit and come out with a 31-20 win.
Back to the Big Ten East, Penn State shut out Akron in a 52-0 blowout. Saquon Barkley had 226 yards and 2 touchdowns in a strong start to his 2017 Heisman campaign. And this earned him his 3rd Offensive Player of the Week title with his performance. Michigan State bounced back from their struggles last season with a 35-10 win over Bowling Green. The victory featured a strong start from quarterback Brian Lewerke, who finished with 3 touchdown passes.
The Fighting Illini barely got past Ball State, where Illinois had to rely on a blocked field goal attempt as the clock ran out on the Cardinals. Lovie Smith and the rest of the team escaped with a 24-21 victory. One of the more highly anticipated games in college football's opening weekend was Michigan, taking on ranked Florida in the AT&T Stadium in Dallas.
That's right, Natalie, and the game certainly did not disappoint. The Maize and Blue were down by 4 at halftime, but scored 3 times in the first 6 minutes of the second half and took the game 33-17. Harbaugh and the Wolverines handed the Gators their first season opening loss in 27 years.
The biggest upset, including the Big Ten this weekend, was Maryland defeating Texas in Austin, and I certainly did not see Tom Herman's debut as the Longhorns head coach starting like this.
Yeah, quarterback Tyrell Pegram had something to say about that when he scored 3 touchdowns. However, Pegram left in the third quarter with a knee injury, forcing freshman Kasim Hill to come in and orchestrate 2 touchdown drives in the fourth to bring back the 51-41 dub to University Park. Maryland's 51 points were the most ever in school history over a ranked opponent.
It was certainly an eventful and successful weekend for the Big Ten, and we learned a lot about our conference and the rest of the college football world. Lucy, what do you think?
Well, Ohio State did not come out looking like a college football playoff contender in Bloomington, so cheers to the Hoosiers for that. The rival to the North, Michigan, bounced back incredibly well after losing 43 seniors against a formidable opponent in the Gators. Nebraska and Northwestern did not look very good against teams they should have easily beaten, while Purdue and Rutgers surprised me with how well they did against opponents that they were outmatched against. But it is the first week, and there are 11 games to go until we see who goes to Indy.
We'll be able to see more next week as the conference state features 3 Big Ten and ACC matchups, with Northwestern traveling down to take on Duke. Pittsburgh is facing hated rival Penn State, and Indiana is heading to Charlottesville to match up against Virginia. Nebraska heads out west to play Oregon, and Minnesota heads to Oregon State.
But the most highly anticipated matchup for the Big Ten in all of college football is Oklahoma coming to the Horseshoe to take on Ohio State in a college football powerhouse showdown. So it should be another fun week in the Big Ten.
So make sure to stay tuned in on Monday to get all those results and more. And don't forget to watch Daily Iowan TV every morning live at 8:30. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.